We're discussing supply now as part of our chapter on supply and demand. Supply is a willingness and ability of producers to provide goods and services. The law of supply describes what that relationship is. And it's a the law of supply is a direct relationship or positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. Holding costs and other variables constant, the higher the price, the more the profit is made on each unit sold. And so at a higher price, holding cost constant, there's a greater incentive for the businessman to produce more. So supply is a positive relationship between price and quantity. Now there's something called a change in quantity supplied. This is as opposed to a shift or change in supply itself. This happens only because of a change in price. Other things are constant. But here, price is constant and other things are going to change. So for example, a change in quantity supplied at a low price, there's not as much reward to produce goods and services, so you'll get a low amount of quantity supplied. But at a higher price, holding cost constant, profits go up and there's a greater incentive for businessmen to increase the quantity supplied. This is a change in quantity supplied. A change in supply, though, is when price is constant. When price is constant, yet the quantity that businesses seek to produce is changing. An increase in supply is a shift to the right. And now at that same price, producers are producing more. If there's a decrease in supply, price is constant, but something other than price is affecting businesses' decisions to produce goods and services, then the curve shifts to the left. At this price, I can't show more on one line unless the price goes up. At this price, I can't show less unless the price goes down. So if price is changing, if price is constant, but consumers are buying, businesses are producing more or less of something, then supply curve is shifting. This video, this handout, reviews these changes in supply. So now we're focusing on changes in supply itself. And we're focusing on the production of automobiles, and we're starting at letter C. Hopefully you have this handout yourself. To work with. Okay, now if price is constant and something else is changing that's causing supply to shift to the right or the left, an acronym to remember is ROTTENW. This is resource costs, other factors, taxes, technology, business expectations about future prices and costs, number of producers, and weather. Especially in agricultural areas, weather can greatly affect the production of food. Alright, the first example would be auto workers agreed to wage and fringe cuts. Now you have to stop thinking like a worker and more like a boss. And so if workers agree to work for less money, that reduces your cost and that will increase supply. So we'd be going from C to D. New robot technology increases efficiency. Well, that increase in efficiency is reducing costs. So that would be an increase in supply, and that would be going from D to E. Now we're at E. Nationwide strike. Well, if the workers go out, that would be an other factor, and that's going to decrease supply from E to D. Now we're at D. New auto import quotas reduce the flow of foreign cars. Now here you might get confused because your knee-jerk reaction is to think that domestic car manufacture will go up, and it will, but it won't go up enough to offset the decrease that the government is requiring of foreign auto manufacturers. So a quota is a numeric limit placed on foreign car companies concerning how many units they can import. So since they're being limited, it's in effect a reduction in the number of producers. So this is a decrease, and we'd be going from D to C. A shift to the left is a decrease. Cost of steel rises. That's going to increase resource costs. That's going to decrease the supply of cars, and you'd be going from C to B. Auto producer goes bankrupt, closes operation. That's a reduction in the number of producers. That's a decrease, and you'd be going from B to A. Buyers reject new models. This is a trick question because buyers' behavior is a demand issue, not a supply issue. Finally, increase in the price of cars. If the price of cars now is changing, then it's no change in supply. It is a change in the quantity supplied. It is a movement on one supply curve.